Hello everybody. It's our last day of Science from My Backyard. We are going to dig up all of our bio and non-biodegradable items and see if anything has changed from last week. Let's see. We're going to dig up our eggshell. Here it is. There's a piece of it anyway. Once again, the skin, the shell part is completely, oh, here's one last little piece of the shell part. But the skin and the shell have really separated. This is just a little piece of skin. Let's see if you look through. Is it transparent? Do you remember those words we used? Transparent, translucent, or opaque? Let's see. Let's look where the light is. If you remember that word from when we studied light, the skin is translucent. You can see my finger move behind it. We'll put the skin down. Here are little pieces of the shell. You can see it's very crumbly. Crumbles away. I can actually just between my fingers crush it into teeny tiny little pieces. Eventually this eggshell will go back into the soil. Let's find our plastic cap. I had said on the last day I would show you how it screws back onto a bottle, so hang on. It would screw right on. It was easy to screw it right on. Nothing has changed with the bottle cap. It screwed right on the way it did when it originally went on a bottle. So I just filled up the bottle with some water, and you can see that the cap is keeping the water inside. Nothing has changed. The water is staying in the bottle just like it would. The water bottle cap has not changed at all. This water bottle cap buried for 10 years, it would look exactly the same. Think about that. Let's look for our paper clip. Here it is. Our paper clip is exactly the same. Our paper clip clips on exactly as it did when we first buried it. Our paper clip is the same size, the same shape, the same color except for being dirty. Our paper clip looks exactly the same. Our paper clip is made of metal, and it takes a very long time for metal to break down. So we will call this non-biodegradable since it has not changed since we started our experiment. Let's find our newspaper. Here is a piece of our newspaper. I was digging and digging and was only able to find one little piece of our newspaper. This piece, it's hard to see, maybe if I hold it right like that, it's a piece of the T from Party. It no longer looks red. It's definitely harder to read. It looks almost all black, but if I look at it really carefully, and I'm not sure that it shows on the video, you can still make out a piece of the T. Let's find the styrofoam. Here it is. Our styrofoam is exactly the same size, the same shape, the same color, the same texture. The styrofoam is exactly the same. It has not changed at all. Our styrofoam is non-biodegradable. It would take hundreds of years probably for that styrofoam to break down. I'm looking for the balloon. There it is. Here is our balloon. It is the same shape. It is the same color. It did not change. Did you hear that? Sounds the same. It has the same rubbery feel to it. Nothing about this balloon has changed since we buried it on April 22nd. It looks the same. The latex that this balloon is made out of will eventually break down back into soil, but obviously it's going to take a lot longer than some of our other items. I'll draw what we saw. Would we agree that this is what we saw? We saw a translucent skin and crumbled pieces with the eggshell. The plastic cap is the same, the paper clip is the same, the balloon is the same, the styrofoam is the same, and our newspaper had a very small piece of the newspaper left that I can recognize. I'm sure there are other pieces, I wasn't able to find them. Let's look at how it has changed since we started our experiment. The eggshell. We had half an eggshell. It looked like an eggshell. Now, we would never recognize it as an eggshell. This little skin, no one would say this is an eggshell. The orange peel looked like an orange peel. Now it's been gone for weeks. That turned back into soil very quickly. The plastic cap, exactly the same. The paper clip, exactly the same. The styrofoam, exactly the same. The balloon, exactly the same. The newspaper, we started with a little piece that said party, and we ended up with a tiny piece of the T left. The banana peel and the orange peel were our most biodegradable items. The least biodegradable, probably the plastic cap and the styrofoam, I would say. The paper clip didn't change, but if we kept it there until next year, it probably would change. It would rust and it would fall apart. The plastic cap, the styrofoam would probably be exactly the same. The balloon would break down. I wouldn't use the same balloon from year to year because I don't think it would remain the same. I would say the paperclip and the balloon would show signs of change by next year if I did the same experiment. I could use the same plastic cap until probably the end of my life and it would not change, nor would that styrofoam change. I definitely, by next year, that newspaper would not be recognizable and that eggshell would not be recognizable. I wouldn't even be able to find them probably. They would turn just like the orange peel and the banana peel, just because the newspaper has room for those microscopic bacteria to eat away at it and take it away. If a newspaper were buried stacks and stacks of newspaper all together tightly where the bacteria couldn't get into it as much, you might be able to read that newspaper many years later. But the way we've done it, buried it in soil, it will become biodegradable faster. I hope this helps you to think about the choices you make and how it would affect our Earth. What you use, how fast it might break down, how long it might stay in a landfill. Think about it the next time you take a drink from a plastic toss-away water bottle. Maybe you can make a choice to use a reusable water bottle, or at the very least recycle the one that you've used that can be tossed away. So important to take care of our Earth. Just like the Lorax said, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Let's all do our best. I hope you have enjoyed Science from My Backyard. Have a wonderful day.